Hello world, how's it going? My name is Tomas Bogasol, and today's date is April 5th, 2026, and I have a message that I want to be able to share with all of you that are watching. And the message is that I am on a mission to change the world, making it a better place. And to be honest, I tell people that all the time. I tell people my dream in life, and that is genuinely my dream. And it's something that I think about quite often, every single day. And I truly care about wanting to just impact a lot of people's lives on this planet. I think our lives are honestly very limited in regards to how much time we have. And so it is my mission to be able to just try to make this world better every single day. And maybe that's through the interactions that I'm having with people on a daily basis, or maybe that is the content that I am producing and posting on my social media platforms. But I think that there are more people that should dream as big as I dream, because I tend to ask a lot of people, what is your dream? And to be honest, their dreams are very limited, at least in my perspective. I don't really, honestly, I've never really found anybody yet that has the same dream of me, of wanting to just change the world and make it a better place. And I can understand why. It's a big responsibility to wanting to leave such a big impact behind on this planet. But I really care about it. I really care about just wanting to help this little green planet that we're on, right? Because it seems like to me that there is a lot of darkness in this world, and I just want to be able to shine more light. Because how I view it is, if I have a torch within me and I am shining my torch, then ultimately other people will eventually be lit, right? And their torches will be ignited, and from there we can pass light on to others, and that's how we are going to be able to make this world a better place. And I want you guys to just imagine something with me, right? So let's say that we are in a dark room, right? We're in a completely dark room and there's no light whatsoever. And let's say somebody walks into the room and they have a candle that is lit. They walk into the room and then there's a little bit of light, right? In this dark room that we are in, there's a little bit of light that is shining now and illuminating the room itself. And now we can see that the light is expanding within that whole room. Even though it's a very dark room, right? The moment that that light entered the room, right, the whole room itself completely changed, because now you can see everything very clearly that is in the room, but you wouldn't have been able to see it if the room was fully pitch dark. And all it takes is just one person to be able to enter a new environment and be able to shine light and make it better, right? I don't know if that visual is maybe the best, to be quite honest, but I think it's just really important that we devote our lives to changing this world in some sort of way. And for me, I know I have made a difference in people's lives at my age, right? I'm only 24 years old, and I know there's been people's lives that I have impacted, but it's like, I don't want to just be limited to just those people. I want to be able to impact more people's lives, right? And yeah, I feel like, man, it would just be so amazing if this planet just became so much more positive, right? Like, holy crap, there's so much negativity out there. There's so much anger and hatred and conflict and wars, and people are literally dying every single day, and they're dying unhappy and dying miserable. And there's people that are older that have given up on life, and there's people that are also my age that have also given up on life, and it's very sad to see. I'll share a story that is a little personal that I think might be very insightful for you guys. And so I was taking the bus from New York to Washington, D.C., because that's where I'm located right now for work. And as I was on the bus, we stopped in Baltimore. And as we were driving down the road to Baltimore, and we were pretty close by, from central Baltimore, there was this woman, and she was just on so many drugs, right? And she was so hopeless, right? And I remember she was asking people for money, and she was crying, and she was in the middle of a road and going up to all the cars, around us. And when I saw her, and I saw her also carrying a teddy bear, and I saw that she looked like she was drugged up, and she obviously was crying. Part of me really felt bad, for her, because I was like, man, this person's life, is basically over, right? And there must be so much pain and sadness that maybe she has experienced in her own life that I honestly couldn't even imagine myself going through, right? But it honestly made me really, really, yeah, just sad and sorrow being able to see her ask for money with tears in her eyes as she's carrying a teddy bear and asking people for money. Like, that is such a a sad way of living your life, But yeah, I don't know. It's just like even small moments like that really just kind of stick with me, and then are a reminder of the importance of why being able to spread positivity onto others' lives is so meaningful, you know? And unfortunately, I wasn't really in a position of power to be able to just step off of the bus at that moment and give her money, right? But at the same time, I also know that by me giving that lady money, that wouldn't necessarily improve her life, right? It wouldn't necessarily, because we don't know what she would do with the money. And yeah, there's been a lot of moments in my own personal life where I've seen people be very, very evil, right? Very, very demonic and very evil in my own life. And I've also experienced people that are very demonic and evil in my own life, right? Coming up to me and being very disrespectful. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I care so much about wanting to help other people, even though part of me shouldn't care, right? Because those people have obviously done harm to me. So what good does it do if I help them? It actually does a lot of good. But yeah, I remember another story. I was going to MMA class, and I was on the B63, and I was on the bus with my mother. And we were going to Williamsburg from Crown Heights, and so we were taking the bus. And I remember looking outside the window about 8 blocks away from my house, and there was a tire shop. And I'm looking outside the window, I'm looking at the tire shop, and there was this older white gentleman. He was probably around like early 50s, and he obviously worked at the tire shop, but I remember that there was a man that came up right to him and decided to start a physical altercation with him. And the guy that was fighting the older gentleman, he was obviously a lot younger, right? And he picked up the broom that was on the ground from this older gentleman, right? And he smashed it right over his head one day. Or obviously not one day, but in that very moment. And to be honest, my reaction was filled with so much hatred and anger, because how could somebody cause that much harm to another individual, you know? regardless of whatever the dispute was, you know, in my personal opinion, I don't think it should have ever escalated to extreme violence, you know, the way in which I saw it. And I remember the guy was bleeding from his head, the older gentleman. And he was helpless. You know, he couldn't defend himself against this younger guy that came up to him and decided to be physical. And I also felt hopeless because I was probably about 15 years old. So there was literally nothing I could do to be able to help. But inside of me, there was this fire and anger and rage that was lit within me, you know, that day when I saw that. Yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, that's these like memories that I have in my own personal life of people that have done a lot of harm and evil, and people that have been very, very rude and disrespectful. They have stuck with me for a very long time. And I feel like if we can make this world a better place individually and become somebody that shines light onto others, then we would have so much less violence in this world. We would have so many more people that wouldn't be living in fear, right? And it would just be so amazing if all humans could just get along with one another, and all humans could be compassionate, and all humans could all shine light onto just others. You know, it's so easy to carry light within you and be able to just pass it on to another person, right? It's very easy, you know? But I don't know, it's just we as humans, we really don't choose to be able to do so. Yeah. So yeah, that's today's video. You know, I just thought I would kind of just share some insight in regards to why I care so much about wanting to help other people, right? And why it's so important to me. And also, it's like helping people doesn't even have to cost anything whatsoever, right? You can be kind to other people and compliment them and tell them how awesome they are, you know, and you could also help other people by supporting them and believing in their dreams as well, right? So, yeah, just be a good human being, right? It's not hard whatsoever. I mean, actually, it is pretty hard, but it's not hard to make that decision, right? So, yeah, that's today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.